I'm no stranger when it comes to the Ford Explorer. My family had the first three generations of them, and I personally got a chance to own the second generation. So we had it limited with the 5.0 all-wheel drive. That thing used to roar. So that's the reason why I ended up with the 2026 Ford Explorer ST today. I want to see if it has some of that that my first Explorer had. This Explorer is the ST trim, and that's their sporty trim. That's not what ST stands for. But, well, might as well stand for it. I forgot what it stands for. But you're going to see we got the bigger Brembos, 21-inch wheels, and this is painted in Marsh Gray, kind of reminiscent of Dodge's Destroyer Gray. And the MSRP on this is about $69,000, a hair up under there. So it does have a couple packages on there, like black roof, and the sunroof got a panoramic sunroof. That adds to a hefty fee on there because the base MSRP is about $56,000. There's a ton of storage up in here. I could not find a wireless charger. I don't know where it's at. Maybe there's not one, which would be kind of I don't know. But storage underneath here, storage down below with USB-A, USB-C, and a DC outlet. Sorry, gear selector right there, drive mode selector. Nice pad in here. Rest your knees on. Storage before you get to the center compartment. Big nice storage in the DC charger in the storage compartment. To get to the HVAC controls, they're just at the bottom of the screen there. If you want to go to a more fuller screen, click on there. Want to get to the massaging seats quickly, on the side of the seat, press the button and away it goes. Get on down there. And it's for the driver and passenger. Not all cars have that. So we got a few different modes for the massaging seats. My favorite feature here, besides Blue Cruise 2.0, which I'm going to demonstrate later on. One of the first things I do when I get a car is change the EQ. And I notice what manufacturers are doing. Instead of doing like bass, treble, mids, they're putting all these different names for different modes. I just want to know where the bass and treble is. And I feel it's like over there. My TV does the same thing. Got a new LG TV. And it doesn't just give me bass and treble. It gives me all these terms for whatever mood it is. Dude, just give me bass and treble. And to be honest, I'd be ecstatic if they gave me the tones and frequency. Fully digital cluster here. Bunch of different modes there. Fuel economy, which I've been getting. Average 20, which is actually pretty impressive over about 250 miles. Got different views here. My view can get like I always drive around in calm view. If it goes to it. There we go. And then, but the one thing I noticed in sport mode, which you will see when we start driving, it doesn't give you all the information of the driving inputs or just the system you should know, like RPMs while you're driving. So many other modes. It's so many other modes up in here. As a parent with rear seat passengers, it's always nice to have a passive entry for the back seat so I can lock the doors from back here. Push this button, the mirrors will fold. And the same thing, you can unlock it as well. Super convenient. Don't have to slide on up to the front to do it. You can just do it from the back. Hand in there, doors unlock, mirrors unfold. All four of the doors. And the rear seat wouldn't fold up because I guess the tailgate wasn't open. So with the press of the button, same one I let it down with, the seat will go back up. Mercy, mercy me. I'm driving around in the Explorer ST. And honestly, I didn't have much expectations. This is an SUV, sporty SUV from an American company. I didn't have my hopes set up too high, but Ford impressed me here. I wasn't expecting to get this much driving feedback from an Explorer. So what the Explorer does that I'm not used to is pretty much everything. The Explorers that we used to own completely different from what we have here. So my family owned the first, second, and third generation Explorers, and those were more utilitarian vehicles, purpose built for just being handy for off-roads or just like the first mainstream SUV. But this right here, the ST model, 400 horsepower to 415 pound-feet of torque, it really gets to moving. And let me test out these paddle shifters. Gonna go on a little spirited drive right here and see what it's like. Woo, dang, that thing kick you in the back kind of hard. Whoa, up to speed early up on this on-ramp. Man, that one gear shift was pretty spirited. Some people don't want to let you in. All right, let me take it out of manual mode. Cruising on the highway and all this traffic. Let me switch to drive mode to normal, as it's a very compliant ride in normal mode, which is great. So this can be an all around 6 people. This thing holds 6 people? Yes, 6-person hauler. Got the captain's chairs back there. So let me put it in cruise, because this has Ford Blue Cruise, and I haven't really driven the first generation of Blue Cruise, but this one is updated with the one that actually changes lanes for you. So let me see, Blue Cruise on. It says hands free. Let me, oh my goodness, we got some construction up here. Let me indicate for my car to get over. Will it get over for me? I gotta do this in a hurry, because unsuspecting lane closure right there. So my lane actually didn't close, but going back to hands-free Blue Cruise, let me set it to a higher speed. Traffic is out here, so let me see how it maneuvers. And let me just tell you what my experience has been with Blue Cruise. Like, you can truly take your hand off the steering wheel, which is something that most automakers be like, oh, it's just an assisted feature, which this is still an assisted feature. Got to use that for insurance purposes. Oh, look, a second generation Explorer. So with this Blue Cruise, it'll change lanes for you. So it'll make highway driving a breeze, slow down, speeds up. You know the whole ordeal. But I kind of wish this had a V8 in it, because the Explorers that we had, they all had V8s. First Explorer, did that one have a V8? Don't remember. But our second one had the 5.0, third one had the 4.6, third generation has the transmission issue. And let me see if this thing will get over for me. Lane change, doing that for us. Maintain the speed. Now it's going back up to speed. I'm about to put it back in sport mode. And all right, we're getting off the highway. So there's that manual mode. See what them gear shifts be like. 10-speed automatic. Got a bunch of gears I got to go down. Gear shifts are quite fast. Put it to where I can see what the RPMs are at. But this torque, my goodness, this is great. We're gonna loop it back around. Talk about the steering feel. Brake feel, it bites. The body roll is minimal for a truck this big. Really good. The fuel efficiency in here has been, it's been day and night. So the EPA, what we got here on the EPA? 18 city, 25 highway. I averaged 21 to 22 miles per gallon, and that was mostly highway. So the first 15 to 20 miles, I was averaging like 15 miles per gallon in the city, but the highway is excellent. Well, I didn't get that 25. It about averages out. You can do 25 if you're on a long stretch of highway, so it's actually somewhat accurate. So let us take off. I wonder what's the red line on this thing. Oh, is that 8,000? I don't know what the red line is. It's digital, and it don't have numbers up there. Maybe I can configure it. Haven't looked at it. Man, this thing's smacking the gear. Which is fun. All right. Super Duty going slow as heck. Beefy steering wheel that I like. Reminiscent of BMWs. All-wheel drive. Helped me get through these turns where I would normally roll over an Explorer. Y'all remember the Explorers had those rollover cases? Firestone tires.
Car on shoulder ahead.
This thing moves. As we got our boy in blue clocking our speed, but we're getting up to acceleration. And then we're good again. See what the power to pass is like. Drop a couple gears. Oh my goodness, this thing goes. Accelerates really fast. I didn't expect all of that. But yeah, that's quite nice. Very nice. Get over here. All the safety features in the world. This could be the enthusiast vehicle for a family of 6-7. So I was not expecting this at all. It's like super quiet as well. When I was driving this thing in like a monsoon, It was pretty quiet, pretty composed. I definitely enjoyed it. So if you're a family person, which something that I actually bought something else that used to be shared on this platform, a Ford Flex. What was my year? I had a 2016 Ford Flex. I bought a 2-year-old Ford Flex. Well, they had the 18s or 19s, I don't know a lot, but it was just leftover lot rot. And I got to buy one of those. Man, there's a lot of traffic out here. But the Flex was a great vehicle, and the Explorer was on the same chassis, but the Flex was less mainstream. Yeah, not getting back on that. Normal roadway composure, excellent. It's quiet on the inside. The materials on here are not, it's a Ford, so be mindful of that. Actually, I think I want to get back on the highway. So I bought a Ford Flex. It's polarizing styling, but definitely functional. And the third row in the Flex was pretty good. I actually haven't been to the third row back here, but by the time I'm actually recording this, I'm doing the beginning part second, driving part first. In the last 5 minutes, I probably burned 20 miles to E. Just when I was driving in eco mode all week till this video, and it just burns through gas. So if you're heavy on it, it's Eco Boost. This is my whole thing with Eco Boost. It's eco when you drive it like eco, and if you drive it in boost, it behaves like it's in boost, meaning you're not going to be efficient. So it's got the performance and the efficiency if you drive it in such a manner. So best of both worlds, or the worst of both worlds. All right, random traffic jam about 20 minutes later to go like 30 feet. But I'll have to get on to the expressway. See how this thing take off. That 1-2 shift is crazy. I like it. Steering feel is very light, even in sport mode. But the way this thing handles for a truck this big is excellent. Makes some nice sounds too. So the vehicle that's this large that makes me think of something comparable to it, the Mazda CX-90. I think it might give it a run for its money as far as like driving dynamics, not the steering feel, because I think like Mazda has the greatest feel for SUVs. Like I said in my other videos, like the SUVs, the steering feel is better in the CX-50, CX-70, CX-90 than it is my Miata, and that's like a literal driving car. So the Explorer, I would put that up there as far as like the whole package goes. Like not steering feel, but the way it handles. Like it's light, but it handles as well. And it doesn't feel like it's about to roll over, because that's normally my biggest fear in any SUV, even the ones with sporty intentions. Like they go fast in a straight line, but they don't handle. But this one does. Well, day-to-day city driving is going to be great as well. Like soaks up the bumps pretty well. It's quiet enough, comfortable enough, not bad at all. The police are very active out here, so I think that's my cue, no pun intended, to get on off this highway. But it's a bunch of traffic out here anyway, so that's going to be what it's like driving this on highway and then little curvy bits. But city driving will be more of the same. Like, kudos to Ford for even building this, making it this good. Like, I just didn't care to really drive an Explorer for years, till I was like, let me see what this ST is about, since they don't sell cars anymore. They got to be doing some sport stuff in the trucks. So yeah, they actually did. Socks blown off. I ain't even wearing socks, honestly. Actually, literally. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the 2026 Ford Explorer ST. If you got a family, a large family, need some space up in here, kids maybe in the very back row, this is one of the SUVs to buy. Somewhat efficient. It's a good alternative to something with the V8, like I guess the Durango. Does it handle better than the Durango? I don't know. I haven't driven a Durango in quite some time, but I'll just say yeah, because Dodge sent me a Durango. The auto stop start in this Explorer is somewhat annoying. The engine turns off, put your foot off the brake, you want to go, as that Explorer just ran the red light. It's kind of hesitant to go when you need it to go, so you can always defeat it by pressing this button here, but I believe it should, well, yeah, it reverts back to on at every ignition cycle. So just a little bit annoying. Not even a little bit. It's more than a little bit annoying. It just makes the truck feel like it's not about to go. It's like, hey, go. You got to add more accelerator, more throttle to it than intended. Soaking up the bumps, no problem at all. Even though we got these big giant wheels. Great place to be every day. So one of those do-it-all vehicles. Is it excellent at anything? I don't know, but it's a great overall package. Let's say something like LeBron. Not prime LeBron, but LeBron as of now. Still does a lot of things well. But that's the wrap up on this. Great driver's vehicle for what this is. I think is one of the best driving ones that I have driven for an SUV. So that's all I got to say about that. You guys don't forget to drive safe, and I'll catch you out in the next video. Peace out.